So this is the unboxing of the DP-UB420P-K. It's a 4K Blu-ray player. I usually don't really do unboxings, but I guess it's kind of way you live vicariously through these. And honestly, I find myself doing this, watching these, so I guess the first thing you have, remote. Batteries and cable. Documentation. And that's it. Let's open this thing up. It's kind of nice. Kind of like somewhat of a matte finish in the front. Opening door here. Looks like it's magnetic, maybe? No, maybe it's just kind of USB, power button, eject button, and on and off switch. That's it. Here you can get a pretty good look at the back panel. It's got an audio out just for, it's got an HDMI just for audio out. Of course, a video out, one LAN port. Looks like a USB. It says hard drive. I'm assuming you can put videos or something or media on your hard drive and an optical out. The front panel, the UB420 is pretty plain. I knew that when I was buying this. I didn't care that much about what it looked like. I cared more about what it could do and how it performed. And I've read and I've seen that these Panasonics are some of the better players. Some are calling the higher end, I think it's a UB9000 that everybody raves about and is considered the best 4K Blu-ray player on the market right now. So this is the home screen of the Panasonic DP-UB420P. As you can see, it's kind of like basic. I could almost say that it's kind of old school. I mean, I kind of remember I've had a couple of Blu-ray players. I mean, this is my first Ultra HD Blu-ray player other than my Xbox One S that I had in my theater for a while, and you know, the interface is pretty basic looking. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't buy this for, you know, playing back your network stuff. I mean, I can show you what that stuff looks like. So I wouldn't buy this to stream Netflix when you can buy a Fire Stick for $30 that would blow this out of the water. And honestly, these are the only three that are worth anything: Netflix, YouTube, and Prime Video. And again, I would just go ahead and buy a Roku, you know, Fire Stick. I mean, this is the marketplace. I don't recognize anything other than the three, and I think this kind of, you know, similar to what other people have said about the Panasonic Ultra HD players. You know, you don't buy it for this. Buy it to play the discs, which, you know, honestly, I am impressed. It even has games here, social networking, like you want to do that on your Blu-ray player. So let me go back home. So you can connect to your home network if you want. Like, I have a NAS and HD home run here, and you can see all that stuff, and you know, it looks like it works. Again, there are better ways to do this. I wouldn't even bother with this. You can go into setup and player settings. So this, I think I mostly didn't mess with this. I don't have it. So I have this player connected in my theater, and my theater has a 1080p projector. And one of the main reasons why I bought this was I wanted to actually play Ultra HD 4K Blu-rays on my theater. I've been relying mostly on like streaming and Mad VR, and I did have an Xbox One S, like I mentioned, but the tone mapping was horrible, and the discs were very dim, so I just didn't watch them. I just used it to play games and stuff sometimes. I now have that Xbox One S connected to my 82-inch HDR TV, and it works how it should. But I bought this because I saw that these Panasonics have really good HDR to SDR tone mapping, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And to be quite honest, I'm very impressed. And I'll kind of give you a couple of screenshots here. So this is the advanced setting menu in the HDMI thing. I think I only changed this from, I changed it to RGB enhanced, and I left this at auto 12-bit priority. I think I changed this from, I think it was set like to middle high luminance LCD, and I had changed it to basic luminance and projector, which is what this is connected to a projector. So I didn't really see a big difference when I changed it, honestly. The thing that makes the most difference is what I'll show you later, is how you can adjust the HDR to SDR when you're playing back a movie. I didn't touch that. And then audio, I didn't mess with dynamic range compression. Digital audio output, I think that's more for like if you're using the optical out. So I didn't mess with this. This is connected to a capture card, so it might be messing. It might be kind of, it might have changed its settings a little to kind of like play nicely with the capture card. I don't really think I messed with this. I already checked and the firmware was already up to date, so that's that. So let me go to the disc and I can show you what this tone mapping looks like, which is the real reason why I bought this. This is saying that you should connect it to an Ultra HD display. I'm connecting it to like a computer monitor right now, and it would probably say the same thing if I think it said the same thing connected to my home theater receiver and projector. So the difference between the 820 and the 420, I think, just boils down to like the front display pre-outs, I believe Dolby Vision support, and I didn't think that alone was worth the $200 difference. It was also selected by Wirecutter. The New York Times, I guess, owns Wirecutter now, but they selected it as the number one, and I honestly agree with their take on it. So let's see here. So I'll go ahead and just kind of find a scene, and I'll pause it so it doesn't get flagged. Let's just go to like a scene, and I can show you how this SDR to HDR works. Okay, let's pause it there. Go to options and just click optimum HDR adjustment, and here I have the optimizer on. I didn't really see a difference. Maybe there's more of a difference if you have it actually connected to an HDR display. But here I don't see anything, but I just left it on since I didn't really see anything. This is the good stuff right here. So you can actually adjust the tone mapping or the level of dynamic range conversion, and it gives you, I don't know, it looks like 24 steps. It defaults at 0, but I found it a little dim from my projector. Maybe some TVs it would be alright. I kind of liked it at 6. It kind of gave you a good balance. I left brightness and this stuff alone. They say 0 is recommended. I wouldn't. See, I can kind of. Honestly, I didn't see much of a difference anyway, so I just left it at 0. Luminance I didn't touch. Color I left it alone. Noise reduction I have set to 0. You don't want to mess with that. Turn on noise reduction, takes away sharpness. I want to kind of come back in. I want to show you this player has really good playback info. I'll play it for a sec. It gives you like megabit per second count. So just to show you another movie and how well this uses converts to SDR. I'll pause it there and I'll go here. And maybe I should mention, why would I want to play why not just play the Blu-ray version if I have a 1080p screen? And I guess is why wouldn't I want to play the best quality disc that's available? But I guess if you want a slightly better explanation, Ultra HD Blu-ray discs have the best audio option a lot of times. Sometimes when you buy the Blu-ray will have like DTS master audio, and only the Ultra HD version has the ATMOS track. So I'm gonna show you with this. So 12 looks too bright. And you know, this is a capture card, so what you're seeing here is probably not, I mean, what I'm looking at on the screen looks a lot. Here you can see that this is the Birds of Prey 4K Blu-ray, and it's outputting at BT 2020, 10-bit video. I have this connected to my 82-inch TV. It's HDR, and it's outputting Dolby Atmos at 5.1.4. So my final thoughts on the Panasonic UB420 is it's a solid player. It handles DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays very well. I honestly have no complaints from the disc player perspective. I didn't try CDs. I'm sure it plays CDs just fine. I would not buy it for streaming any kind of Netflix, you know, Prime. It only has Prime, Netflix, and YouTube, as I showed earlier in the video. Don't buy it for that, please God. It's not good. It's slow, it's clunky. Any $20 or $30 streaming stick of any brand would do much better. You know, also, it's hard to justify paying, you know, twice or even 4 or 5 times more for like the 820 or the UB9000. It would be, I think it would be incredibly difficult to tell a difference. I have not tested those, and I don't have equipment that could probably even detect any kind of difference. And my eyes could probably, I'm sure my eyes could not see a difference between what this player can put out versus what the UB9000. If you're buying the UB9000, you're probably buying it more for its look. It's a much bigger, more substantial player. It would look much better in any rack. So if you're buying it, it's because you want the absolute best. For me, this player met my needs, so I'm very happy with it. So yeah, I can't recommend the player enough, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to do my best to answer them. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe if you can. Thank you.